Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Highly Taken podcast. David back at you again from Tallahassee, Florida.
Christian back at you out from Maryland.
Nick back at you in Jacksonville. Hey, how about Patrick Mahomes not liking a call that decided a game and they ended up losing the game? Imagine being on the receiving end of that in a crucial game and they call something that you don't want them to call. Imagine that happening. You know what? You can't be doing that. You can't have it both ways, buddy. He was clearly offsides.
Yeah.
And what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? They've been calling it all year. You want to talk about an offsides that wasn't an offsides? Jason Kelce got called for offsides yet again last night on the tush push when his foot or his hand was behind or next to the ball and they called him offsides, which isn't offsides. But Patrick Mahomes, you're such a crybaby, man. You are a crybaby, and I blame the refs. I don't even blame him.
Well, we decided to start this episode out real hot, just calling out, a top 5 QB in the NFL before we've even spoken another word except for who the hell we are.
No, you can't be a top 5 quarterback and be a pansy and run your mouth like that.
It does blow my mind. I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a great quarterback. He's not too vocal. You don't hear really much out of him except for maybe his appearance or two on the Muppet Show. But he is he's so mad right now. He was just, even after he made a bad pass, he blew up on the refs. Every bad pass that drive after that play, he kept blowing up on the refs. He went to the sideline, he's blowing up on the refs. When he shook hands with Josh Allen, all he said was, "What a bad call." Not even good game, bro. He's still talking about the call, but he's like, "Oh, but they call that in that situation. It had no impact on the play." Yeah, maybe it did. Maybe that extra yard was the reason why Tony could get in the end zone on that pass play anyway. Who knows? But it was blatant. He lined up a foot in front of the football. So I don't understand why you're why did you call it? Because it was a penalty. And for somebody to complain about penalties the way he's been reffed the last 3 to 4 years, how many pass interference calls he's gotten that weren't pass interference. I mean, roughing calls, the Super Bowl last year. And so he's going to sit here and complain about penalties is a breath of fresh air, to say the least.
You think all that frustration that he took out on the refs last night could just be for the simple fact that his wide receiver core has week in and week out for the past 5 weeks failed him, literally losing him 100%. The game. Every 100%. Game they've lost has probably been on the wide receiver so far this year.
What a great pass by Kelce, though. Can we put that in there too? The fact that he had time to look over and see Tony was wide open and threw it back to him, perfect spiral, everything. Yeah, I agree. You're right. I mean, it's getting to him for sure. I mean, he's a great player, but unfortunately, I'm telling you, the refs have created this monster by letting him get away with whatever he wants to do. That offensive line would get away with holds like I've never seen before. And when you finally don't get calls, this is 2 games in a row where they don't get calls in their favor, and they're getting mad about it. So, unfortunately, the refs created this monster.
And also a monster that was created is this thing called Dubs and Chugs. We picked games this past week, and some people did good, some people did bad, and I would like to see what happened.
We did. So I want to start horrible. I want to start it off with I shouldn't have been different on one game. I decided to pick the Jazz instead of the Clippers, even though I had a feeling the Clippers were going to win, but I can't bet against or bet for the Clippers, I guess, because you guys did. But coming in first place with 7 was myself.
Damn.
For the simple fact, the person that I tied with at 7 had the same amount, except they said the Chiefs would win, and I said the Bills would win. So by that default, I win. Coming in last place with 5 is Christian. And simply put,
basketball's
you did not do very well in basketball, and you're supposed to be the one that knows basketball, and you didn't do very well there, dude.
No,
you didn't do very well.
No, I actually did very, very awful there.
But you didn't do bad. Let's say you lost and you had 5 correct, right? So that's not terrible. I also
think you may have done 10 games this week instead of 9. So
I think you might have.
Did I? I did 10 games. I did 9 and then
I think
a
you did 10 in a
tiebreaker.
tiebreaker this week.
Did I?
I think you might have, bro.
I only had no, because I only got 2 wrong.
Well, because Christian got every single basketball game wrong, and then also definitely got the
No,
Lions.
he didn't. He didn't get every single basketball game wrong.
Yeah, I picked the Clippers.
He picked the Nets and
And
the Clippers.
So wait,
But then the Heat still lost, and then the Hornets still lost.
Heat lost,
No,
Hornets
Raptors
lost. He picked the Pacers.
Raptors lost.
Yeah, sorry. He picked the Pacers. So that's
Wait. What do you mean Raptors lost? We played the Heat and Cavs game as well.
We did, yes. We played the Raptors Hornets game, and you took the Raptors.
That's what I meant.
yeah.
Hornets
So
won.
he got the Raptors one wrong. He picked the Pacers when it should have been the Lakers. He picked the Cavs instead of the Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's 3, right? Which other ones the only 3 basketball ones he missed?
Yeah, I think so.
So, but he also picked the Lions over the Bears.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What other
And
NFL
Falcons
games?
over the Bucks.
That's 5. Then how do you get 5 right if you got 5 wrong?
Yeah, I would be.
Hold on. I might be wrong. 1,
Four.
2, 3, 4. Maybe
Welcome
I did do an extra game.
Welcome to the Highly Math Podcast.
Maybe I did. I don't know, man. This back pain's killing me. So I may have accidentally added another game, but that's okay.
Wouldn't have mattered. Wouldn't have mattered.
You went 50%.
That was a solid 3 minutes there of math. I'll put a timestamp to skip that part.
Yeah. Ow. But it's okay. It was good. It was a good time. It was good to win. So, in other news, talk about not winning. Army beat Navy this week. And good old
what a good game.
I mean, let me tell you, it is a good game if you bet the over. It is a great game if you bet the over.
That was rough.
The under was hitting the entire time, all the way until there was 5 seconds left on the clock. What does Army do? Army just stays in the back of the end zone, takes the safety, then the over hits, and everyone that was safe with the under just was not anymore.
What did you want them to do?
I mean, they could have aired the ball somewhere. They could have done something.
It could have been picked. They could have gotten a fumble. They just decided to snap the ball and run in the back of the end zone for the win.
Just QB sneak up the gut.
There could have been a fumble.
I'm glad that I didn't pick the under in that game. It was a good game. You know, it's one of those ones that we all like to see every year. David, to make your point, Army ran the ball 47 times. That's a lot. That's a lot of runs. Navy ran the ball 35 times.
Yeah, wasn't.
Was there any pass plays?
There was, but only because at the end of the game,
there was.
they needed to pass the ball to get on the field.
Yeah, there was some passing plays, not as many as you think there would be.
Like a solid,
in a normal
like
game.
20.
Navy passed the ball 26 times.
Okay.
Army passed the ball 14 times.
Okay.
And a lot of I think about 8 of those came in that final drive for Navy when they were down by like double digits in the last quarter.
But either way, Army won. They deserved to win, even though they took the safety. They took the safe way out and just took a safety. I'm glad I didn't bet on that game.
Very bad beat there. Very bad.
Oh, yeah. You already know that's on SVP. You already know that's on Bad Beats of the Week. Because I'd be mad. I'd be so mad if I would have put that on my bet. But, hey, we had a lot going on this weekend. A lot of games. I think there was a decent amount of upsets. Closer games than I think people thought. We'll start with that Rams-Ravens game. I mean, what a way to end it.
That was the best game of the week.
Yeah,
David, I would have to disagree with you. That Vikings-Raiders game was probably the game of the week, without a doubt.
True. Nail biter to the end.
Nail biter.
We had the return of Nick Mullins, everybody.
I tell you what, that is not a game that I would ever want to pay to watch. I would be upset if I was at that game watching punt, punt,
17 punts.
Missed field goal. You got to throw a missed field goal in there.
Yeah. Punt. No, that is so jacked. And I guess we'll touch base on that since you want to bring it. Dobbs got benched. Was it deserved?
Yeah.
Yeah,
when you're playing
MVP Nick Mullins back there. What do you mean? To be fair, Justin Jefferson went out again, so
he's at the hospital, chest injury.
What's funny though is Nick Mullins came in and his first drive in at quarterback, he accumulated more yards and completions than Josh Dobbs had through 3 full quarters of football.
Yeah, that's just crazy. I mean,
that's brutal.
What do you want to do, man? What do you want to do, man? That game was just an awful game. No one thought that game was going to be a fun game.
I think, actually, yeah, we'll start with the Rams and Ravens game though. That was a good one.
Yeah. I mean, what a way to end it coming into overtime. Guy catches a punt and just returns it. I mean, just an amazing way. It was a great game. They were going back and forth the entire game, and I don't think you can sleep on the Rams this year. I think they've proven the last few weeks that they can play, and that offense is starting to fire on all cylinders. Williams is starting to look like a great running back as a rookie. Now, I don't think Cooper Kupp is still 100% though, and I think that's the issue.
I think the biggest thing for the Rams at this point is it's going to be looking at their schedule and where everything lies for the road to the playoffs. I don't know who they play coming up in their last 4 games. I haven't seen, but
they play the Niners. I know that.
Niners the last week of the season.
Yeah, so you're gonna have the Niners in there, but I mean, you figure they're with how tight the race is for that wild card spot for their last 2 in the NFC. It feels like if you're the Rams, you're gonna have to win 3 out of the 4 of those with your last. If you want to drop.
Let me tell you how likely that can be. Next week they're playing Washington.
That can be a win.
Next week, Saints.
Okay.
December 31st, Giants.
Okay.
January 7th, Niners. Okay. It is not out of the question at all.
Well, no, it's.
I was going to say, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it a little after we talk about all the games about playoff picture right now. They're only a half game back of the Packers right now. If the Packers were to lose tonight, they'd be tied for that last spot again.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting because it's both the NFC and AFC wildcard race is insanely close. AFC closer than the NFC. But yeah, they do look like a good team. The problem is did they catch fire too late? That's going to be the question. Did they come on too late? They played offensively 3 great games for the past 3 weeks, averaging over 30 points per game in those 3 weeks. Nakua's really starting to come on, be a huge complimentary to Kupp. They're starting to leave him more in one-on-one situations when they double cover Kupp, and it's starting to prove that it's not much of an issue if they want to take away Kupp because they have Nakua. So the Rams are definitely heading into the right direction. And as you said, too, Nick, Kyren Williams is emerging as a beast in that backfield. It's just going to be, is it too late down the schedule? Is it too late down the slate? You had that big slip up coming into about the middle of the season. Now you're getting right back on track. But while you have an easy way, an easier schedule out the rest of the season, there's a couple other teams that have one too. So it'll be curious to see. But if they can keep playing like this, I mean, this is definitely a team that I don't think any team would want to see in the playoffs.
No, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see. And you said it's not as close as the AFC. And besides the one wild card spot that's either going to the Eagles or the Cowboys, I mean, the other wild card spot's wide open. The other 2 are, Vikings are 7-6, Packers are 6-6, Rams, Seattle 6-6, Falcons 6-7, Saints 6-7. Sorry, those other 2 were 6-7. And then let's not forget, Bears aren't out of it either. They're 5-8. Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot that can happen. A lot that can happen. It's crazy. And I mean, to your point, the thing is the NFC looks worse than the AFC because the AFC, they all have a winning record, right? So they're all like 7-6 looking over there, and it's close too. And I'm wondering what's going on here.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy nonetheless to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to keep talking about more games right now. You already brought it up, Bills versus Chiefs. We talked about how both these games are almost must-win games with Bills more than more than the Chiefs are.
Yep.
Mahomes didn't play too bad. 271 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick. Josh Allen, 233 yards, a touchdown, and his weekly pick as well. Key win, putting the Bills, back into a winning record. They still have a tough end of the season stretch to make up too.
Yeah, it's not over with. The only thing I will say with the Bills, they're in playoff mode now, right? They got to win out, right? We said that last week. You got to win out, and they don't have an easy schedule by any means that they have remaining. Case in point, next week, look who they're playing. They got a tough matchup against the Cowboys. Luckily, they're at home. I think that's good for us as Eagles fans. Them playing the Bills. And I think they're finally starting to build a little bit more confidence here. They didn't look pretty against Kansas City, but they got the job done. You can say it was a controversial call you want, but he was clearly offsides. Wasn't controversial to me.
Yeah,
and the thing is, the Bills have to beat the Cowboys and they got to beat the Dolphins the last game of the season in order to get in. I can see them beating the Patriots and the Chargers. Both of them kind of with ease. Patriots are at home.
The Patriots
Chargers,
beat them earlier this year.
I know, but it's at home this time. And then Chargers they're probably going to be without Herbert. Herbert broke another finger, which is crazy to me, but another finger going down. So, I think at this point, you win out, you make it in. That's basically, that's all you can do. And you still might not make it in because you have the same record as everyone else.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough there in the AFC. Like I was saying, I know you said you don't think it's tougher, but I just feel like the quality of teams that are over there in the AFC right now that are all sitting in the wild card spot are better than the quality of teams that are sitting in the NFC for the wild card spot. And that's just my personal opinion. But
what I just said.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, literally, I said I'm not saying it's just as tough on both sides, but you have better records in the AFC.
Yeah. So, I'd be curious to see how it all plays out. But yeah, for the Bills, I don't know, man. They're gonna drop a game in there. They're gonna drop a game in there along the way. Josh Allen's gonna throw a crucial last drive pick somewhere along the way, and the playoff hopes are gonna be absolutely.
As long as it's not to the Cowboys.
As long as it's not the Cowboys, that's the one. Dude, let them lose to the Dolphins again for all that, or not again. I'm sorry, let them lose to the Dolphins this time. You know what I mean? For all I care, just beat the Cowboys. But I'm not sold on the Bills. I don't. They got a good win last night, but again, yeah, Kadarius Toney, he was offsides. That's the right call. But if they don't make that call, they're up, and nothing else happened on that play except for that once in a blue moon call. You know what I mean? Like they scored that touchdown, they got in there, they did what they had to do. They just got lucky that the Kadarius Toney was too to check with the sideline ref.
No, that gets cut out.
To all you Giants fans, I'm sure you were laughing when that happened. Sure, you were enjoying it.
He probably wouldn't be able to line up on the right side if he went to a better college. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but I don't know, man. I'm not sold on the Bills and the Chiefs. I feel like we said it so many times so far throughout the duration of this podcast that wide receiver is going to be their weakest point for a while to come until they fix it. And that's going to be the reason they lose games. And once again, last night is another reason that they lost the game. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to be that big of a fight. Be honest with you guys, and be real with you. I think the Broncos take this division.
They're only a game back.
Not out of the question. It's not out of the question at all.
I think the Chiefs are in a real trail backwards right now. The Broncos are starting to look up. I know you said, Nick, or you and Dave both said you think that they would beat the Chargers yesterday. Justin Herbert, he did go out early. I understand that. But even when Herbert went out, he was only 8 of 16 passing, under 100 yards with an interception.
No, that defense, they showed out. They showed up and played. You got to give credit where credit's due. Don't get me wrong. Chargers, their offense is hurt. But Herbert's a player, he can normally get the job done. They just shut him down, and nothing, they couldn't do anything. Eckler really wasn't doing much, until the final, he got a trash touchdown at the end, which didn't really mean anything.
Mr. Christian.
The thing is Broncos have the Lions, Patriots, Chargers, and Raiders again, and is it easier than what the Chiefs have? I don't know. They're only a game back.
It's very comparable.
The Broncos. They're only a game back. If you ask me, Chiefs have an easier schedule playing the Patriots, Raiders, Bengals, and Chargers, but don't take anything away from what the Bengals can do, because the Bengals have been surprising the last couple weeks.
It's what I was going to say. Browning has looked pretty decent over there so far playing quarterback. He hasn't looked tremendously awful. The Bengals themselves haven't looked tremendously awful. They look like they're able to hold their own. Now, granted, with that much firepower inside of the offense, with Mixon and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, you should be able to produce somewhat, but he's doing more than just producing somewhat. He's keeping them in games. He's able to drive down with this offense. He's making the decent throws that he has to make. So, and Cincinnati, once again, they find themselves right there. They're still in a position as well to go ahead and try and push for that wild card spot. Yeah. So it's going to be real interesting. Now, I'll tell you my biggest thing I think is the funniest thing about the week. It's got to be Zach Wilson throw for 300-plus yards.
Dude, right?
And 2 TDs, right? After rumors coming out saying, oh, I don't really want to play. Then, he said to DJ Reader before the game started, he said, what's the worst they can do? Bench me, and then laughed about it, and then goes out and throws for 300-plus yards. It's like, this guy, Zach Wilson, dude, it just blows my mind. Like, do you suck or are you good? Is it the team? What's going on here, man?
I think it comes down to the team they're playing. We've talked about how the Texans' defense has been shoddy all year, and I feel bad for C.J. Stroud now because not only was he without Dell and Schultz yesterday, but then Nico Collins goes out, so your wide receiver one is what? An aging Robert Woods or Noah Brown. Those are your two guys now, and so I felt kind of bad. He didn't have any turnovers, but still, Wilson, what a game. I did not see that coming.
No, yeah. I thought they hit their stride when, they played really well against the Broncos last week, right? I thought maybe the Texans defense was going to show up, but you got to give credit where credit's due with the Jets defense. That Jets defense, when they're cooking, man, it's hard to do anything against them. Then when you keep the Texans defense on the field as long as they did, you're going to wear them out, and they're going to make you pay. Do I think Wilson would ever go for over 300 yards? No, not at all. He absolutely showed off. And, unfortunately, Turf Monster got another victim, man. Nico went out, and then unfortunately Stroud got hurt too. Luckily it's just a concussion. Could be worse.
It's just a concussion.
That's my fantasy QB right there.
You got 3 points yesterday.
I tried to warn you. That I had a feeling he was going to get hurt in this game, but nobody wanted to listen to me.
So where do the Jets sit now record-wise?
5-8.
So,
they're not out of the question.
But, yeah,
they kind of are out of the question.
It's getting there, right? You're going to need a lot of teams to drop some games here. At least
and a lot of those teams play each other still, too. So,
right.
Yeah, so process of elimination, they possibly could. Based on that,
very slim.
They got Dolphins, Commanders, Browns, and Patriots. But hey, let's not take anything away from the Browns. You can't take anything away from the Browns. What the heck? An aging quarterback coming in
Joe
from retirement.
Elite.
Joe Flacco,
he's still elite,
goes
baby.
Out there and absolutely torches Jacksonville. 311 yards with 3 TDs and an interception. Unreal what he did. He outperformed Trevor Lawrence by, I don't know. When you throw 3 interceptions, I don't even care how many touchdowns you throw. That's too many interceptions, which costs you games. But
yeah,
do we think they should have sat Trevor Lawrence, or do you think they made the right decision with him playing with that high ankle sprain?
I think at the end of, me personally, I think at the end of the day, they made the right decision. Who's their backup?
Better
be hard.
Okay, yeah, you put him in, you figure Trevor Lawrence already threw 3 picks. How many's Beathard throwing, bro? Like, the defense was just on point yesterday, dude. If the Jaguars are able to even at one point fight back and make it a commendable game, a commendable score, you're not going to get that out of Beathard. You're not going to, and at this point in the season with the Jags, you're playing to win. You have to play to win. You're 8-5. Thankfully, the Texans lost.
Yeah, you're only one game up.
Right, that played in your favor. But yeah, if they won, Texans are sitting at the top of the division with them, bro. So you had to play Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence told you he was good to go, that's obviously the right move. You're getting way too close in the crunch time. If you had a game or a game and a half up on Texas going into that game, like you knew, like, okay, we'll be safe or whatnot, then different situation. But that's not where you were really at. You know what I mean? So you're in a bunch of must-win games right now. And with the Browns defense, dude, you're not going to get better play out of the backup quarterback than you got from Trevor Lawrence there. There's just no way. The defense was great. Offense looks great. Joe Flacco, have yourself a day. David Njoku, way to find yourself the fountain of youth as well. Have yourself a day. It was just great ball from the Browns in total. And if that's the type of – and this is what I really liked about the Flacco pickup for the Browns. If that's all they need from Flacco is to just be a decent game manager, this team can play. This team can compete, and this team can win games. This defense is good enough. The offense has the pieces around it. They just need a semi-decent caliber quarterback, which they weren't getting with DTR. Now they're getting with Flacco, and instantly when they put Flacco in, they're scoring more points per game.
Man, they're better. He's better than Deshaun Watson numbers. I mean, he's throwing the ball. I'm telling you, it wasn't like game managing.
He's zipping those balls in. It was crazy.
Flacco had confidence the entire day, and it was nuts when I was watching it. I thought I was watching the Flacco from the Ravens when he was in his prime over there. I mean, it's scary. I wouldn't want to if this is how he's gonna, I mean, if this is how he's going to continue to play, I'd be scared if I was in the AFC going up against the Browns just because of that defense.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is there, and again, they do have the offensive firepower and weapons as well. I mean, you lose Nick Chubb, and that's the biggest thing. But Ford's been balling out, right? Kareem Hunt, he's very, very commendable number 2 there. Amari Cooper has been playing well, and then again, the Njoku's getting resparked. So yeah, the offense has the pieces as well, and then obviously, defense doesn't even need to be concerned. Dilpit just signed a massive contract. Shout out to him. Congratulations for that. You want to know something funny, though? I saw this today. In 2 starts this season, Joe Flacco has 1 less touchdown pass than Kenny Pickett has in 12.
Are you surprised?
Oh, no, man.
That's horrible.
Because he's elite. But
he's elite.
I mean, if we want to, I guess we only have one more game that we got to talk about now. The Eagles play the Cowboys. Credit where credit's due. But we all said they'd probably drop this one to Dallas. We all said that was probably going to be the outcome of this game. They haven't won in Dallas in 6 years. So, I said it on Friday. I said the 2 things they need to do is don't turn the ball over and get the defense off the field. You have 3 costly turnovers in Dallas territory, a turnover on downs in Dallas territory, and also Dallas had 13 more minutes of possession the entire game. It's a whole quarter. You can't win games if you're ruining your scoring opportunities and then letting them stay on the field. They went, I think, 9 for 16 on 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, the fact of the matter is we just shot ourselves in the foot last night, right? I mean, the team, in my opinion, you look at it, we didn't play horrible. It wasn't a horrible game. We didn't look awful consistently throughout the game. It's just fumble, turnover on down, fumble. And each one of those times, dude, we're driving. We have momentum going right behind us. And it's crazy because even up until that last fumble in the 4th quarter by Devontae Smith, if they punch that ball in during that drive, dude, you have a brand new game once again sitting there 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Philadelphia was right there the entirety of the game, but they threw the game away themselves. They continuously put the ball on the ground. And as we've all said before multiple times, even with 2 to 3 turnovers, you shouldn't be winning games. With 4, you're sure as hell not going to win the game. And you just can't do that. And that's going to come real costly. And I will say, though, one thing I can say to that, though, is it at least makes me happy to know that we looked decent enough to go out and beat them. We just shot ourselves in the foot, and that is why we lost. You can fix the ball security. We can make those adjustments. You can hold on to that ball. You can fix those type of things, man, but at least I saw that the team can play. They can compete. They just got to stop making those stupid, costly mistakes. Hold on to the damn rock.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You can't have that by anything. I mean, Devontae scores, like you said, it's the game. You're getting momentum back. The way that defense was playing in the 2nd quarter or 2nd half, I would have been okay thinking we're coming back from that because of how good they were playing in that 2nd half. When your star players go out there and drop the ball, that's where the game is. I knew once AJ put that ball on the ground after Jalen Hurts did, I had a feeling right then and there the game was over. That was a crucial punch out. And give credit where credit's due. They punched it out. I mean, they went out there. Do I think they should have had two hands on the ball? Absolutely. But they still went out there and punched it out and got the ball back. And they've been doing it all year. That defense has been making turnovers happen all year. And we should know that. Players should know that going into that game that's going to happen. They're going to be trying to go after the ball. They do it all the time. So to me, it's just, I think it was a lack of planning against this team, not knowing when you're about to get tackled to grab on with both hands and hold on to that ball. Because my goodness, all three of those drives, in my opinion, they would have been at least, I don't know, one or two would have been a touchdown. You're looking at another one as a field goal. Not to mention you should have had the other field goal that you had a turnover on downs. I don't care what analytics tell you in that situation. Just take the freaking points. Just take the freaking points.
No 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah. Just take the points. I didn't like it. It was 4th and long. It wasn't close, and you went for it. If you knew you were going for that, why aren't you running a better play to get a better yardage to make it 4th and manageable? I just don't like the play calling. I don't like the offensive coordinator.
Brian Johnson,
I don't like anything that's going on right now. And Nick Sirianni needs to take the reins and start making the play calls.
Sorry, I was saying, like I was saying earlier, it's just, Dallas ran 74 plays. Philly only ran 52. Philly had over a yard more per play than Dallas did. It's just when you're not on the field as long, your defense starts to get worn down, and you don't get a chance to score. And when you're not getting a chance to score because you keep turning the ball over and you don't get the ball back, you're not going to be able to put points on the board, especially when you're down by 10. So I
feel like all year long we've been sitting here, saying when is this team going to put it together for four full quarters on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And dude, at this point though, it's really starting to make me wonder: are they going to be able to make it all click? Is it all going to be able to find its way to click? Now, I will say, if there's ever a time to make it click, it's going to be coming up now, right? Coming down the stretch, get it all together, get it all going. You go into the playoffs rolling red hot. You got to go and get team chemistry going, but. I feel like we just haven't seen anything so far this year in any game that has shown us that at one point or another, it's all going to come together. You take the Bills game, the defense didn't do their job, but the offense stepped up amazingly into the second half of that game. You go to the Dallas game 2 weeks ago, offense did its job in the first, or defense didn't do its job, and then it did in the second quarter, or second half. It's never getting put together, and at some point it has to. And if not, that's where the real concern's got to be drawn at this point for me, for the Eagles, because we're running out of game time, dude. We have 4 games left in the season. We don't want to lose the division, because if you lose the division, now you don't get any home playoff game.
Luckily,
that's what we need.
Yeah, luckily they'd end up playing, whatever NFC South team makes it. But I mean, the Eagles right now, they control their own destiny. They win out because of all the weird tiebreakers. Or they win out, they win the division. So I mean, granted, it may be a 2 seed, but if they win out, I mean, they're at least guaranteed home field for 1 game in the season. Now, I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything more to say about the Eagles game.
Nothing about the Eagles game. Okay. More about what Christian was saying as far as them not looking good. Now, like you said, this is the time to do it. They went through the gauntlet. We all knew it's going to be a tough stretch of games. And losing 2 out of those, I don't hate it. Did I want it to happen? No. But we knew we were going to lose at least 1 game to Dallas. And the Niners game, to be honest, I didn't think we were going to beat the Niners the way they've been playing. Plus, we don't have the linebacker core right now, and that's hurting them. Last night was the first time finally seeing the linebacker core look okay. But CeeDee Lamb was still burning them in the middle, and they haven't figured it out yet. And that's the biggest issue. And then I'll leave it at that. I'm done talking about the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, we have 4 minutes left. If we can start a new one, or I just want to talk about the playoff picture for both sides right now. I don't know if you want to start a new one for that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. What's up?
All right, well, I'm just saying, so for the NFC, you're looking at it. Obviously, San Fran holds that 1st seed. They ended with Arizona, Baltimore, Washington, and the Rams, which they probably go 3-1 in that span. I mean, I feel like if they drop any game there, it's probably going to be Baltimore. Dallas obviously is the 2 seed only because they've played more division games. So that's why the Eagles have to win out to get that. But Detroit's at the 3, who's looked very bad this past 4 or 5 games too, especially with that loss to the Bear. And obviously you had the NFC South winner. The Bucs right now are in the 4 seed. Philly drops to 5. However, again, they'll get the 2 seed. They win out. Minnesota, even after the loss, stays at the 6 seed. And then Green Bay has a 7 seed for now. If they were to lose to the Giants, they still have the seed, but they'll be tied with the Rams, Seahawks, Falcons, and Saints at 6 and 7 if they were to lose tonight. And also, like Nick mentioned earlier, if the Packers lose tonight, then that means that the Bears and the Giants would win, which would make the Giants 5 and 8, would only be one game back of a wild card spot if the Giants were to win tonight. So,
yeah, it's a pretty interesting layout over there. That was all the NFC picture, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty top heavy. I feel like AFC now, we go Baltimore is right now the 1 seed, but it's only because Miami hasn't played yet. They play tonight. If Miami were to win, they get the 1 seed. If they don't, then Baltimore has the 1 seed. Kansas City's at the 3 seed, and only because they have the head-to-head over Jacksonville this year. So then we have Jacksonville at the 4 seed, and even though they lost, the Colts and the Texans both lost, who are 1 game back as well. So then we have Cleveland, who owns that first wild card spot. Then we have Pittsburgh, who even after losing the 2-10 teams are in that second wild card spot. Then we have let me flip real quick. Then we have the Colts with that final spot, just because they have a better conference win percentage than Denver, Cincy, and Buffalo. Then obviously you have Houston, Denver, Buffalo, and Cincinnati all tied at 7 and 6 as well.
It really is kind of funny that you have 3 AFC South teams all right there with a shot to compete for the playoffs.
Still, all 4 AFC North teams are still right there.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys though. Honestly, let me say this, dude. I will say I think if the Bucks can be the one to win that division in the NFC South, I think they can win a home playoff game. I really do. I think they have a shot at
Dallas or Philly.
I'm about to say, I know they're going to play probably Dallas or Philly, but I think they have a shot, man. I'm not going to lie.
I know last time I went to a Buccaneers-Eagles home playoff game, it didn't go so well.
But we got to change that, and we're going again.
Well, let's just get the 2 seed instead of the 5. And
yeah, I like that better. Let's let Dallas play at Raymond James again.
I'll tell you who my first team out is. It's gonna be Cincinnati. They have a tough schedule. They have a tough remaining schedule. That schedule is not easy by any means.
Yeah, they still got to go through the Chiefs as well. So
Chiefs, Steelers, and Browns. Steelers defense against this Cincinnati. Well, they did let Zap go off, but I think they got a tough schedule. Off. I mean, the Browns.
When am I going to be right about how much time you have left?
Bro,
Nick.
what?
Nick, what were you saying about your first team out? You're saying Cincy?
Cincy, yeah, just because, they got a tough road ahead of them with, the Chiefs and the Browns. Now, here's the thing with the Browns. They're going to sit their players if they locked up that wild card spot. They're not going to win the division. The Ravens, I think, have that division on lock now. So they're probably going to sit their players. So maybe by default, Cincy gets in. I just don't know. The thing that's surprising me is how crazy that AFC South's looking right now. To be honest, any of the 3 teams on top there can get it. Stroud's only going to be out for one week from what I'm seeing.
They can get it.
So, yeah, he was ruled today. He has a concussion, so he's probably only out for 1 week. And then, obviously, Colts, surprising team over there. They can come around and end up winning it too. So, it's going to be crazy. It's all about that remaining schedule.
Yeah.
I think for me, my first team out at this point now, it's probably going to be the Steelers, man. And I was so high on them for the year. I really thought they were going to do well. And then first game, Canada's gone. Offense puts up, season high numbers over the past 3 seasons. And now it just looks like it's coming right back down to reality. It looks like, okay, you know what? Kenny Pickett might have been the problem from the jump. You might need some more line help. You got a bunch of problems going on there inside the offense. You have great weapons at receiver and great weapons at running back, right? So what else could be the problem? And you got to figure it's got to come down to Kenny Pickett. It's got to come down to the offensive line there. And I just don't think, you lose to the Patriots 2-10, and you lose to the Cardinals who were 2-10 in back-to-back weeks. you're going downhill right now. You're going in a bad spiral, and you're already fighting for a wild card spot. I think they're going to be the next team out.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to say the first team out for me, it's going to be Buffalo. I just think they have such a tough remaining of the season schedule to like have to win as many of the games they have to win to be up there. If I were to choose my three right now, who I think are going to clinch up those wild card spots, I think Cleveland gets it, I think Houston gets it, and I think Denver gets it. I think those are the three teams I'd pick.
I think I'm on the same page as you, except I think Houston gets it, Cleveland gets it, and Kansas City gets it.
Oh, so you think Denver wins the division?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say Houston has they only have they're playing the Titans twice, right, in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
So that's huge for them. They're going to be without Stroud this week. He's got a concussion, right? He's not going to play this week.
Davis Mills isn't too bad.
But the Titans own the Texans, though.
That's true. But then you got to play the Browns, and I don't know. It's so tough to tell, man. There's so many teams in it. I just don't know who would be the team that I would say that's going to win it. It's crazy to see how good the AFC is and how close everybody is in the AFC. So, I mean, to me, in my opinion, it's got to be the Bengals just because of the strength of schedule that I would say that's going to be out. Now, if I had to pick teams, I mean, I'm obviously going to go Browns. I'm probably going to go Broncos just because of their remaining schedule. And then it's going to be a toss-up between the Colts and the Texans. It really is. I don't know.
It'll come down to that last game.
Yeah, I just don't know who I choose.
I got one last question for y'all. If the Broncos come through and make the playoffs, is Sean Payton coach of the year?
I think he has to be.
I mean, I feel like if the Texans make the playoffs, it should be D'Amico or even Shanahan, what he's doing over there with. I mean, I honestly understand.
Look at in season, dude. The Broncos were getting so bad they got 70 points put up on them, and then now it's a flip of the script. They're a game out for that division, man.
And there's a lot of deserving coaches, I feel like, this year.
There definitely are.
Even Steichen out in Indy. I mean, for what Indy and the Texans have both been able to do, flipping what they were last year to being potential playoff teams, potential division winners at that, is kind of crazy there.
Look at that goat.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have a tough decision to make between any of the teams that are probably going to make it, whether it be Texans, whether it be the Colts, whether it be the Broncos. I think just because of who he is, Sean Payton probably will get that spot.
Yeah. Shout out Kevin James.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So what else we got going on right now, boys? Sorry. In other news, Ohtani went to the Dodgers and Juan Soto went to the Yankees. So, that happened. Ohtani signed for 10 years, $700 million. Absolutely just insane.
That's way too much.
Between Mookie Betts and him and Freddie Freeman, that's $1.5 billion that the Dodgers are paying 3 players.
$120 million next year. So,
yeah, that is absolutely insane.
It's unfair.
Insane. Yeah, I don't even know. First of all, I don't know how if you're any team in the MLB, you can look at any of this now and say, dude, the Dodgers are paying over $1 billion to 3 players alone. How is this fair when you have a team like the Athletics, who I guarantee you the highest player on payroll this year is making $5 million, right? Like that is insane to me. There's definitely an unfair advantage there in the MLB now at this point I don't know, man. When you get a contract like that, yeah, something has to change though, man. And even on the Lux tax, I understand that, but at a certain point, you got to be like, okay,
thank the Yankees,
dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. That is insane. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating that Ohtani went to to the Dodgers. I'm not mad at that. I'm just at this point, it's just like, man, how can you, as the league at this point, allow a team to tie up that much money into 3 players, still be able to buy? I mean, when I'm sitting here just saying Mookie Betts, Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman, they still got Max Muncy out there in the outfield. They still got a good third. Like, they have multiple other players that are good.
And they're like top 3 to get Yamamoto from Japan still. Like that,
Right.
that's absolutely
Exactly.
insane.
So it's like at some point, I feel like you have to be able to sit back and kind of be like, all right, look, man, like even if you want to keep a luxury tax, keep a luxury tax, but even still have a cap on the luxury tax. Like it's just getting too crazy here.
Yeah, I think though, I'm honestly not that worried. I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about the Yankees. I think we've seen it in the past several years now that teams with these stacked lineups don't do that well in the 5 to 7 game series because they don't have pitching. Right now, the Dodgers' best pitcher is an aging Kershaw who got cranked by the Diamondbacks, or Urias, I think, maybe their best pitcher. So, I mean, you see the Yankees, they've had the best lineups the past probably 5 or 10 years. They just add another hitter, but they have no pitching. And so it'll be interesting to see what these guys can do in a 5 to 7 game series against a bullpen like the Braves, a bullpen, not bullpen, but a rotation like the Braves, a rotation like the Phillies, when you're playing against 3 solid guys back to back to back.
I mean, the upside to it is though, at least you're giving him a lot of money, but you're also hoping in 2 years' time you're getting back Ohtani the pitcher
pitching
as well. And so that adds in a serious ace and threat into your pitching rotation. Now, granted, by that point, you're probably not going to have Kershaw there anymore. He's going to probably hit the door. He'll be gone. So you're going to need to get another rotational guy. I don't know, man. I'm right there with you, David. The Dodgers always seem to fall short because of their pitching. They just don't have the pitching there to take them, through a 5-game series or 7-game series, whatever it is. And I don't think Ohtani and bringing his bat over right now is the problem in that solution. Now, granted, they only put up 1 total run in their playoff series against the Diamondbacks, so I understand why you went out and got a bat. But dude, I mean, still, you let Diamondbacks put up like all of 30 runs on you in that series too. So, Nick, you don't got a word.
I mean, I'm at a loss of words when someone's getting paid $70 million to play a sport.
Yeah.
I don't think any person's worth $70 million to play a sport. I'm sorry. Like I think when I saw Mike Trout making 40 a year, I thought that was too much. I get why he's getting paid more because he can pitch and he can hit. I mean, obviously he's an MVP every year. I mean, he 100 when anybody can do both. I mean, that's you can't oversee that. But do I think he's worth $35 million as a pitcher and then $35 million as a batter? No, I don't. Do I think he should have gotten 50 million a year? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Give him 50 a year. Yeah, I could understand 25 as a pitcher, 25 as a hitter. But when someone's out there and you give him 70, who's next? Who's next? Who's on that list that's going to get 70 now? Who's going out there? These players are it's just way too much. And as a player, how can you turn that down? Like, I mean, that 70 million, that's nuts. Like, that's hard to turn down as any person. I just don't. It disgusts me on how much money the Dodgers just have and they just throw away on these players. And you know what? I'm going to laugh at the end of the day because they won't even have a World Series to show for it. So,
other than a Mickey Mouse World Series.
Yeah. Right, the Mickey Mouse World. That's funny. Yeah, it's definitely tough, man. I'm kind of right there with you, man.
And in other news, Bryce Harper wants to restructure his contract after him coming out and saying he was a Cowboys fan last night. That hurt my soul. Pretty harsh. But yeah, now he wants an extension. He wants another few years. But why? I'm sorry. I love Harper just like everyone else does as a Philly fan. But he's going to be 38 years old when he finishes his contract already. Why in the world do we need to sign an extension on that? He's 38 when he finishes.
So I think one of the biggest narratives or misunderstood narratives around this is with Harper looking for the extension. I don't think he's looking for more money. I think he's just looking for more years and to spread out his money more so there's more money inside of the team.
Guys, just can go out and get more guys.
Yes. I don't think he's looking to be paid like as an extension. Like, okay, here, look, I want you to up me, give me a like $2 million raise, keep me here for another 3 years. I think he's trying to extend the contract out, but so we can spread the money out more, so we can bring in more players.
Mike Trout.
At this point, no.
At this point, probably not. I don't. But see, that's the thing though for the Phillies, man. Who are you looking at? Dude, Cody Bellinger's a big name. I'm still hearing.
I want Yamamoto so bad.
Well,
We need
yeah,
a pitcher.
we all like it, but I think, dude, I still think
Bauer. Go get Bauer.
I'm about to say, I still
Bauer's an
think if you're the
easy one.
Phillies, you need to try and sign Snell and Bauer to your best of your abilities. I mean, you can get Bauer for cheap, so you should 100% be able to go out and get Bauer.
Yeah. So I think that probably gets us into our last three things. We have hot take of the week. Christian.
I guess I can start here. Hot take of the week. Hot take of the week. All right. I'm gonna go with Mike Trout gets traded this week.
Ooh, after the Angels said they weren't going to trade him last week. That's it.
Yep.
All right.
It's the business. It's the business, baby.
We have a big college basketball game slate on Saturday, and I am going to call 6 top 10 teams losing that day.
Nice.
I think Arizona loses. I think Kansas loses. Houston loses. Baylor loses. UNC loses, and then Creighton loses, all on Saturday, shaking things up early.
How many of those top 10 teams are playing top 25 teams?
3. Purdue is 4, and they play Arizona. A&M's 21, plays Houston, and then Kentucky is 16 and play UNC. But the rest are unranked. So IU plays Kansas, Alabama plays Creighton, and then Michigan State plays Baylor.
Okay.
Wow. Interesting.
I like that.
Oof. Yeah. My hot take is going to be that next week, the AFC North will only win 1 game.
Well, who plays?
Yep, you got the Vikings playing the Bengals. I think the Vikings are going to win that game.
Do you think Jags are beating the Ravens?
Steelers playing the Colts. I think the Colts are going to win that game. Bears playing the Browns. Don't be surprised if the Bears end up winning that game. And unfortunately, I think the Jags are going to lose to the Ravens on Monday Night Football.
All right, I like it.
I say they all lose.
Hey,
right,
one last thing here.
Boys.
One last thing.
What's that?
Deflated baller. Certified and deflated ballers of the week.
All right. I'll start with my certified baller boys. And you know what, man? I'm stuck between 2 people here. I really am, because 2 people balled out. And I'm just going to list them as co-ballers this week, boys. This week, I'm going to do the first ever co-ballers, and that's going to be
2 balls.
Shout out to my boy, Zach Wilson from the Jets and Joe Flacco from the Browns. Just 2 great games from them. 2 great games from them.
Both Jets legends.
Seen it coming. Just absolute legends, okay? Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter, just coming out here doing his thing. Joe Flacco, he's elite as he's always been, obviously. He was elite his whole career, So, got to give 2 shout-outs to them, picking up huge wins. Jets, trying to breathe for the playoffs. And Browns, they look like they're going to get somewhere to the playoffs.
I think mine is going to be Anthony Davis. I mean, you go out and you put up 41 points, 20 boards, 5 assists in that in-season tournament Mickey Mouse Championship. I mean, that's a good game, clutch win, and, wins the first ever. And, when the Lakers, that team's the only bubble champions, the only in-season tournament champions. So good for them.
Listen, I told you before we picked him last week that LeBron was going to win something this year, and why not let the quote-unquote quote king win a not important tournament? So, of course, he's the first one to do it, so I'm not surprised. Christian, I was going to go with Joe Flacco, but I'm going to make it a little interesting here. My certified baller of the week is going to be the refs at the Kansas City football game. Good for you to make the right call and make Patrick Mahomes
way to do your job.
A little pansy at the end of that game. Thank you for making the right call.
All right, Christian, who's the deflated baller?
Well, I'm going to touch base with where Nick just went, and it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, dude. For you to come out and openly be a little crybaby and sissy about the correct call. I think to me it was probably the funniest thing in the world. It almost blew my mind when he walked to Josh Allen. I was like, it's bullshit call, bro. It's a bullshit, but it's not. That is 100% the right call.
It's like Nick in the group chat during an Eagles game where it's like an obvious call that probably is a correct call. He's like, no, that's not PI. What are you doing? But what did he want the rest?
After I calm down, I'll be like, yeah, they made the right call.
What did he want the refs to do? Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
After talking it out, there's no foul for offsides because the play that just happened was so sick. So we're gonna call off the offsides.
Well, that's what they did in the Eagles game.
And it's like that's what he want. That's really what he wanted his logic to be too. If you listen to his press conference, he's like, I mean, for them to take away greatness like that, and the greatness of Travis Kelce, nobody took it away from you, dude. Your wide receiver was offsides. You took it away from your damn self, bro. Like, why are you out here painting a picture like this that somebody screwed you over when in reality your wide receiver?
All right, I got 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so mine was actually the same thing. I had Patrick Mahomes. But I'm going to switch it to the Los Angeles Angels. You have 6 years of Ohtani and Trout, and you get 0 playoff appearances. They were second in the AL West at one point last year. I said they were going to collapse and go to 4th, and they did. You have 6 years of greatness, and you squandered it. So, yeah, deflate the ballers right there.
Yeah, I mean, they have to be. Yeah, I was going to go Mahomes also, but I'll switch it up, and unfortunately, it's going to hit home. I'm going to give it to the Eagles offense being shut out. Not putting up anything, 3 turnovers, unreal. Turnover on downs, just absolutely terrible. That offense did not look good. You can't turn the ball over and expect to win. So, unfortunately, I got to give it to the Eagles offense.
All right, well, that's it for the week. Have a good week. We'll get you on Friday. Talk about those games. I'm going to go hit back.
Tell your friends. Tell your mother.
Deuces.
You know what?
See ya.
Deuces,
Wish I could
baby.
hit back then.
Yo, listen up.
Back's already been hit.
The highlight take a podcast.
You got thrown out by Jim.
True. Hosted by David, Nick, and Christian. That's a crew. They drop knowledge and hot takes at the sports IQ. We dive into the game from hoops to gridiron, analyzing every play like we was the champion. With witty banter and humor, we keep it fun. HTP fam, we always bring the number one. Highlight taking podcasts, we taking over the scene. We drop dubs and chugs, live in the sports dream. From hot takes to deep dive, it's a winning regime. Come join the hype. We not just blowing steam.